So this style is a center lock. Doesn't say it on there. But center lock, we're going to be using probably something on the little bit bigger side. Smaller ones are going to be used for like cassette or freewheel systems for gearing in the rear. And going a little bigger, we're going to go into bottom brackets, which they actually are sharing. Bottom bracket, and this is a BBT-69.2 Park tool, most likely going to fit our center lock as well. This is just the older version before they came out with this pretty light anodized soft aluminum. Not too soft, it'll wear. It'll wear in too. But this guy's a BBT-19. I'm gonna guess it's 19 little splines here. This one's the BBT-69.2, probably most likely a diameter. And then both of these should fit, but old school, new school. And we're using this one gives the option to use a 3/8 ratchet style. And then this one, same 3/8 ratchet style. What this one also gives you is the ability to put a flat wrench here. So it's either a flat wrench or a crescent wrench. Let's see what size this is. This one has a little dial on it. I think we're looking about 25, if this thing is correct. 25, 24, or 26 in that area. Millimeters. All right, so trying the old school one here. That's a nice fit. That little bit of play is normal. Is it an old tool? Yes, but it's not beat up. But a little bit of play. Let's check this one out. This one has definitely had some usage. Again, we're going to like a softer aluminum compared to this. Feels just like a heavy steel. But yeah, a little bit tighter. But if you feel confident, as long as we keep this pressed in and it keeps a good bite instead of like wanting to slip off as you're turning, just depends how tight that is. Because it's relying on you to press in as you're starting to go loose, and you're going to go lefty-loosey, counterclockwise. There's also an arrow on here. It says locking to 40 Newton meters, you're going righty-tighty. So we're going counter to take this off. So you can go about this two ways. We can use a 3/8 inch ratchet style, or we can go a little bit longer to a breaker bar, and these come in different lengths. I believe this is about a 16 inch or so. So it just depends how tight this is, how strong you're feeling. But let's go with this one here. Let's go with the small one. And then I'm working on the table, so it just gives me a little bit more leverage. So hands pressing down to make sure this tool does not want to slip up and off, because the lock ring itself, a lot of these are aluminum as well. They're always thinking about weight, so these can get marred up over time. But I like this table here because I'm pressing the wheel into the wall, and then I'm using my body here to press in, so I'm kind of securing the wheel and just kind of getting my leg in a really good leverage spot to press inward, holding down. And then I might just give it a short little, whoa, that's tough. Let's go for a longer one. Now if I keep going, this wheel's gonna wanna churn, so I'm trying to keep my body. When you're working by yourself, you just gotta get a little creative. So body's holding this from spinning. That's pretty tight, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump to my breaker bar. And if this is my 12 o'clock, I'm trying to put this somewhere around my 3, 4, or 5 o'clock, somewhere in that area, just to give me that pressure, that good leverage to. So I'm holding with my chest or rib cage pressed down. And that did the job. Now when you first break these free, you might feel a little bit of a little bump of vibration. Totally normal. Very similar to your cassette lock ring. There's little ridges, tiny ridges here, and there's tiny ridges on the actual disc brake if you look closely. Those ridges are meant to touch each other, boom, 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 so as you tighten it, there's going to be less chance of this wanting to bump, 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 break free and start to get loose on you, especially if you didn't tighten it to the designated 40 Newton meters. So there's no particular direction or clocking you need to put this at. As long as this is, all the lettering is facing towards you, you want to see the arrow of rotation, which is going that way, rotating that way. Always looking for logos, all your information. Normally, you're going to see that tell you you're putting this on correctly. You're not putting it on upside down, flip it over. A lot of times it's just completely blank on the other side. So we're jumping up here to a 203 Shimano and handling it, either grabbing it from the outside or somewhere in the interior so we're not touching that surface. Keep in mind we have a new rotor, so this has to be broken in or burnt in a bit, which shouldn't take, actually this one will take a little bit of time. So you might have, like, say anywhere from like 60 to 80% of power. You just want the new brake pad to rub against this, so you're going to be testing it very carefully in a secure area, dragging your brake, drag your brake, getting pad material into the pores of this metal. And then this will then be a lot stronger. You'll have pad material from your pad as well as embedded into this metal, so then that grip becomes more severe. Another thing to keep in mind, may or may not say here, some Shimano rotors that I've noticed, and others as well, the brands that may say that it's for organic pad only or metal pad only. Here I'm not seeing it stated, but always a good idea to go do your research and find that out. One of two things: it's either may feel different when you're braking, maybe just a very light difference in maybe a milder grab or a more severe grab, depending what you like, and or if we don't have a compatibility with the correct rotor material and pad material, then you could have squealing, poor braking, and all those things. So instead, you can clock this anywhere. You can put this wherever you want. As long as it sits and grabs, you are going to be okay. This typically comes with a new lock ring. I'm going to go ahead and screw this on. If you have different brands, they should all follow the standard threading. So you can use a different, if I have a SRAM lock ring, it should fit on a Shimano hub and vice versa. That's a standard the industry should follow. Notice I said should. And then this thing is just going to be clockwise. Yep, and then I'm going to follow it up with the torque wrench to hit 40 Newton meters, which is very exactly the same as your cassette lock ring. So bigger torque wrench, this goes up to 50, 60 Newton meters or so. 3/8. Just gonna steel this guy. Make sure it's locked on there, and then just ramp yourself up to 40. Hey, what do you know? And we're going clockwise. I'm going to push against the wall. You could do this on the floor as well. Stand it up. Let it kind of rest on your knees, and then you can just use your body. Put it whatever position. You're either pressing down with your body weight or you're pulling up. Whatever feels good. But always make sure this stays nice and tight so it gets a good bite. Doesn't want to slip off. And you're going to feel those little bump, bump, bump vibrations. Don't get it confused with the actual tool giving you a click or a sound, mild sound. The neck or head's going to pivot slightly. That right there. So I'm going to do another confirmation. So I'm applying pressure slowly, building up pressure. I want this head to give me that little click and head rotation. Boom. And don't forget to unwind, put this back to 0. There's a big spring under compression. You want that spring to relax when it's not in use. That way it keeps a good calibration and lasts a long time. Back to 0.